predictable these days.
Perish the thought.
I mean, what better day to show up, right? I know you keep tabs on me. You know what's going on in my life. You just couldn't pass up the opportunity to gloat over my estrangement from Lucky, could you?
Well, it was bound to happen. You and Lucky are like oil and water.
Come on, what's your agenda? You here to take advantage of my newly acquired lack of moral integrity?
You couldn't be more wrong. I am here to celebrate. My wonderful grandson is finally showing the mettle of a true Cassadine. I couldn't be more proud.
It's okay, just try to stay calm.
You don't understand, Jason. I don't know what's wrong with me. I'm such a bad person.
No, you're not. You're just going through a tough time right now. Okay.
Gotta love the timing. Well, I've been called a true Cassadine quite a bit lately. By Lucky, by Luke, list goes on. And as gratifying to you as that probably is, it's not really an original thought.
Ah, but there is a difference. You see, from a Spencer point of view, a Cassadine is an odious thing to be. But the Spencers are small-minded peasants who don't know the first thing about what it means to have noble blood, how it makes you different, special, judged by different criteria. Now, Nikolas, everything that the Spencers deride in you, your wealth, your power, your ambition, your ruthlessness, these are the qualities that speak to your enormous potential. My darling, it's time to stop slumming with these dreary people. No, it's time for you to embrace who you are. Revel in your magnificence.
Yeah. And you're gonna show me the way?
Exactly. I am going to take your hands and act with you in tandem as a family.
You are quite the rebound, girl, aren't you, Elizabeth? But this is fast, even for you. I mean, throw yourself into Jason's arms after only 2 weeks of mourning the wreck you made out of our lives. So much for the terrible danger he presents for the boys. I guess their safety just gets thrown by the wayside in the face of your incessant need to play the victim one more time.
That's enough. That's uncalled for.
Is it? Let me guess. She came running to you, crying all, woe is me, right? How can any man resist? I mean, you've been there. You know how convincing Elizabeth can be. She'll stick around for a while. It's long enough to blow your whole life to hell, and then she'll turn on the waterworks and run off to the next guy.
Okay,
Stop.
It's okay. I knew I hurt you. But until this moment, I didn't realize how much. I've seen you angry and I've seen you devastated, but I have never known you to be so cruel. Thank you for trying to help.
Elizabeth said is right. What you just did is in you. And the Lucky I know is disappearing right in front of me. You don't bully people. You treat women with respect. The guy who just yelled at Elizabeth and humiliated her that way, that's not you, Lucky.
I don't see anyone else here. Look, don't you think it's a little ironic? You lecturing me when you kill people for a living? Have secret affairs with another man's wife and lie about...
why I can speak to it, because I have to take responsibility for my job, because I chose it. But the other things you just mentioned, that wasn't me. Any more than what I just saw you do. That's not you. Every day that I lied about Jake was another day that I compromised myself. Piece by piece. Don't compromise yourself. You're better than that.
was just thinking about? The way you were right after your accident. You're just a blank slate. No memory, nothing. No context for emotion. You should have stayed like that, Jason. Instead of opening yourself up, letting people in with their declarations of faith and love, making you vulnerable. I would take an accident like yours in a second, just for the chance to not feel anything anymore.
Hi.
Oh, take your jacket off, please. So, Cameron, what did your art teacher say about your art project?
She said it's great.
She did? See, I told you we have a budding artist on our hands. There, baby. Are you stuck?
Maybe it's
Sorry.
Daddy.
Hello there. Camden, isn't it?
Come here. Come with Mommy, please. What are you doing here?
Oh, such a wary look when I am here to say thank you.
Okay, if you don't want a sauna, now would be the time to speak up because Maxie spent at least a half hour in here taking
Yeah,
measurements.
well, why don't I just let Maxie have this place?
Are you okay?
Yeah, I just bumped into Elizabeth at Kelly's, and she's in a bad way, and I tried to comfort her. She was upset. She was fighting me, and I put my arms around her, and that's, of course, when Lucky walks in.
Oh, no, and he went ballistic.
No. But the way he talked to Elizabeth was so cold. I don't know, it was just really strange for me to see because I've known Lucky since he was a kid. And today was the first time that I actually saw the toll all the lies have taken and the betrayal. I had a part in that, you know?
How do you mean?
Well, I lied for months. I let Lucky believe he was Jake's biological father, then when he found out, he was devastated. Yeah, he bounced back, but you know what? At some point, the spring just snaps and you can't bounce back anymore. And you get stuck where you are and you get angry and you start to change, and I'm afraid that's what's happening to Lucky right now.
You're right. Dad's looking at spending the rest of his life in prison. It's so unfair. Dad didn't even kill Claudia. He's just protecting Michael.
But that won't matter, because Michael won't be a factor. And who's gonna bring him up and say that he did it? Certainly not Uncle Sonny. And even if he did, it could backfire.
How?
Well, a jury could believe your father killed Claudia and go even harder on him for trying to blame his son. On the other hand, the evidence against Uncle Sonny is pretty much circumstantial. Dan can probably spin a lot of it away. Well, enough to raise reasonable doubt anyway. Remember, all it takes is one juror.
Hey, what are you guys up to?
Nothing.
Molly's helping me with my homework.
Really? Since doing homework is such a guilty thing to do. What's really up?
We're talking about what's going to happen to Dad if he's found guilty of killing Claudia.
Life in prison hardly seems fair, does it? Considering I'm the one who murdered Claudia.
But you didn't mean to.
You were just protecting Mom and Jocelyn.
Yeah, but at some point, that's not good enough. What matters is Dad didn't kill Claudia. He shouldn't have to spend the rest of his life in prison for something that I did.
That was about 16